So, we're reviewing the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you today because my goddamn friend Tama about it, and I just refuse to lose an argument with her. Well, it looks like I'm taking the L again this time because here we are talking about it as someone who enjoyed it. Now, while my plans for a proper video discussing how the Harem trope can be utilized properly is way off into the future because there's a lot of Harem manga I have to read, I have been putting in the work of flipping through some promising Harem mangas for that video, and this ended up being one of them. I was expecting to put this in the scrap bin, but in the last couple months, I have read this title about 3 times now, like start to wherever the current chapter is. And I just can't put it down. And that's weird for me, because I innately hate the harem trope, like, a lot. Like, if you've been on my streams, you know I get really pissy if my friends, ask if I like High School DxD, because I fucking hate High School DxD despite the name. But, yeah, no, I don't like harem. And there's only been 2 times where I think the harem trope has been used properly, but here I am, enjoying a very blatant harem manga for some reason. I just can't figure out why. So I thought I'd put it into words, and yeah, it's just easier for me to figure out stuff when I put it in words, and this is why this review exists. And spoiler, I do figure out why I do enjoy it, but that's later on the video. So let's go on a journey and figure out why I like this manga so much. The premise from the opening chapter is that our main protagonist, Rentaro, I think I'm pronouncing that correct, has been rejected for the 100th time in his life. Keep in mind, they do make a joke that he's been doing this since he was like 8 months old, which is real dedication to the bit at that point. So anyway, he goes to a matchmaking shrine and prays for a girlfriend, and because it's manga, the god of this shrine shows up and is like, alright, I'll take pity on your dumb ass. You're gonna meet 100 soulmates in high school, and you can pick which one you want. Which is a pretty good deal, and I wish that my high school life was like that. Anyway, he meets 2 of his soulmates, and then has a hard time picking which one he will pick after they both confess to him. By the way, the correct answer is Karani. Just saying. So he goes to the Shrine God again for advice, and pretty much gets a huge bombshell dropped on him. Pretty much, whichever one he doesn't pick will die. And yes, that means all future 98 soulmates as well. Since he can't have the mass murdering of his future waifu baits for the readers, this is just a way to justify the harem tag. And he ends up dating both of them and plans to add all future girlfriends to his family. Now you see, that would normally turn me off because once again, I really hate the harem trope. But I did promise that I'll give it a fair go, and I powered on. And as girlfriends got added, it just got more absurd as it went on, and as more absurd it got, the more funny it got. And I actually ended up liking these characters because the writer actually put in an effort to make them likable. So on the surface, it's like a dumb harem manga, but in reality, it's a comedy manga which is incredibly funny, to be fair, but still has its honestly sincere moments. But one of the biggest pet peeves I have is harem mangas not justifying the use of the harem trope. Like, alright, let's take High School DxD for example, because why the fuck not? I've watched 3 seasons of that shit, I might as well use it. Issei only gets a harem because he ends up seducing all Vias's pieces. Like, it honestly doesn't fit into the story because there's, like, no way in hell a girl would willingly join his harem. I mean, come on, he's such an open pervert. What is likable about him? Sorry. Like, okay, like, just because you helped with a family issue, Kokonoe and Arkano, like, what the fuck? That is not a good reason to suddenly have a 180 on fucking Issei's personality and
5 minutes later.
like, okay, I'm putting a cap on this rant before it takes over the script, but my point is there's usually no way to justify it reasonably. Making it so it's a god's work is a great way to start it, but the fact it's kind of overriding a person's will, it's also kind of unmoral, which is something it acknowledges, and yes, that was really just a long segue into our discussion about its humor, because I had to justify shitting on High School DxD for a bit. It's extremely self-aware, and it works in its favor for most of the time. I still think its first few chapters are dragged down because it hasn't really earned its right to be self-aware yet, because despite it having a god show up, it feels more like a typical romance manga anyway. A suspension of disbelief was already in play when I started reading this, so I was ready for the one-off appearance of him before we settle down into my comfy spot of being a cynical arsehole, but then the manga realizes this. It realizes quite early that this concept is dumb, and it would try harder to learn more, lean more into its obscenous humor, absurdist humor. What the fuck what obscenous humor? Yeah, great job, man. To fit the quite dumb concept, so they made the fifth girlfriend a 18-year-old senpai which likes making and drinking drugs. Also, she's an 8-year-old lolly that wears a diaper because drugs. Don't do drugs, kids, or you might end up with a diaper fetish. But seriously, the introduction of I didn't even write a fucking name down. Holy shit! I literally put in insert name instead of putting a name. Fuck me. It just goes down this rabbit hole, taking stereotypes and its scenario to the extreme, where we end up with brilliant, like, versions of girlfriends, like the nature-loving extremist giant, the masocist baseball club member, the groping masseuse, and my personal favorite, low-energy Garu. I don't know why, but pairing low energy with Garu is like the best thing ever. Like, holy shit. Now you see, I could waste your time discussing every single girlfriend in detail so far and explain things that I love about them, and trust me, I would. Just like Ventaro, I would and could. Like writing an ongoing Excitopedia series on Kanade's lovable traits. Don't fucking challenge me! But to save me some time in the editing room, which is also my bedroom, I'm just gonna start in a video of me making a quick tier list to save me some time. The 100 girlfriend tier list. It's for it's for a video that I'm gonna talk about. It'll probably make more sense in the video. I'll probably be cutting out all this awkward stuff as well. So here's Hana Zono hierarchy on the video. I'll probably have panels. Hana hierarchy. I mean, her main character trait is I'm horny. Something she does share with her mother, but I don't think she has anything really redeeming about her aside the fact that I'm horny. So I'm merely putting like the introduction girlfriend, one of the two introduction girlfriends, straight to be. She has really not grown as a character in the series. The other introduction girlfriend of Kanade, who is the stereotypical, blonde to Sunday type. She hasn't grown as a character, but holy shit, I love Kanade. I'm sorry, it's just I have a preference. I have a lot of preferences, but one of those preferences is literally to Sunday, so I'm putting it straight into S. Because I'm biased. But I think these two aren't that interesting in terms of characters. Like, if I was just purely judging them from a character standpoint, Kanade would probably be a B, maybe a low A. Just because I don't think these two have really grown as characters throughout the series. Like, some of the other characters have. They have had good character development. Shizu... my friend Juji's gonna kill me for this. I'm putting her in A. Like, her character trait is she's small, she doesn't say anything, she communicates through books, and she's like the typical book nerd. She has some absolutely adorable scenes. Like, she is amazingly adorable. but I don't know. I don't want S to be too crowded. So right now I'm just gonna put in A, and we'll see. Okay, you thought Shizu was the weird one. Here's the weird one. She's technically a senpai. So let me just like pull up her wiki page real quick because it's easier if with that image she has. We're up to. And then this is where I realized I fucked up the order. She's actually 5th. We're supposed to be up to Nano. Cold, calculating, mathematic. I love her. Her character is literally about efficiency. She likes being efficient. She's kind of like a robot in a way. I guess it's the best way to put it. She likes being efficient, but I think what I really like is that with the character trait of Rentaro, I think she comes like a really top tier girlfriend, probably just below Kanane. Because I think that it kind of lets her feel a little more human. It's actually quite adorable seeing her kind of break that cold facade she has. So I'm not good with my words. But she has some really good moments in the manga that I really like. Anyway, I'm putting her in C, and then I'm going to tell you why she goes in C. So here's Yakuzin Kusui. She's an 18-year-old senpai, does science. She likes making drugs. Like, her whole character trait is, I make drugs. She's like the main joke enabler in the series. But the thing that I really don't like about her is because of her failed immortality drug, she spends most of her time as a lolly. And also for some reason, she's kind of like has this whole thing about diapers. So it's like a diaper fetish on top of that. Like, the worst part is, we don't see the grown-up version of Kusui a lot. We spend a lot of time with the child form of Kusui. God. But no, her character trait is literally, I do drugs. And I'm a lolly. Like, her only redeeming feature is that she enables jokes. I call her Hari as well. But I'm putting her in B for now. We'll get to a chapter later. I'm putting in B now, but pretty much all you need to know is, okay, how do I explain this? Because this is where the manga gets a little weird. So, Hanazo no Hari is the mother of one of the girlfriends. Specifically this one. Her character trait is literally horny but MILF. But all you need to know is that for Hari's character trait is literally being a horny MILF. In fact, I would normally be putting her much fucking lower. Like, I honestly think she's one of the worst girlfriends. But then they gave her arguably one of the best chapters in the series, which made me really fall in love with her character. So while realistically, that chapter alone and how they developed her character, I would probably put her above her daughter. Personally, I think she can sit around A, probably just in Shizu area. We'll see. Because like I said, I don't like the idea of having tiers being too crowded. Kikuri, grumpy while hungry, and she makes the most adorable faces when she eats. She's pretty much the glutton. She is in junior high as well, so it's a bit weird, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of weird girlfriends. I personally don't think she has anything interesting to her. She has, like, a couple good jokes. But I feel like she doesn't have much string to her bow aside from being hungry. So, yeah, no, I think I'll put it in C. Alright, so, May. This is Hahari's maid. She's 19, I think, according to the series. And her character trait is pretty much, she is the diligent maid stereotype with rainbow eyes. I think she's quite adorable, but just being adorable isn't enough, I think, to get her that high. Probably around B. Anyway, IQ! They got the tomboy, and then they gave it the mattresses trait. This would normally go into D, but then she has, like, a really good fucking chapter that makes me want to put her into, like, top of A. Probably, I mean, I really like Shizu a lot. Does she trump Shizu? Yes. Yes, I think of that chapter, yes. It's called Boyish Girlfriend, by the way, that chapter. Oh, no, no, no. No, this is specifically 100 Girlfriends tier list. Waifu tier list. I'm doing this for the review. So, I'm only looking at the girlfriends from that series. I don't want to do like an overall anime girlfriend tier list. That's a bit annoying. I have read that manga though, by the way. I kind of dropped it after 50 chapters. It wasn't that interesting. It felt like it was very rudderless is the best way to put it, but I'll talk about that at a later date. Mimi, her character trait is she likes being beautiful, and I think what I like is they don't make her seem incredibly vain or egotistic. She's actually probably one of the nicer. She's actually probably if I say she's one of the nicer girlfriends, this implies that there's mean girlfriends, and there is. They're all loving. I think the way they pull off her character is great. I do think her character trait can be a bit dragging, but I'm just gonna put her in low B for now. And then we have Mei Mei, meme, meme. Her name is literally meme. She is like, if Shizu was the shy bookworm girl, this is the artsy crafty shy girl as well. Except she has mastered the art of substitution. She has a really fun little chapter, and they're adding a little more to her. And I will be talking about that later in the video, as you see. I kind of want to put her, yeah, maybe just above May. May. She is interesting enough. I don't think I could put her in A though. Okay, fuck D. Lin. I fucking hate Lin so fucking much. First things first, this character design. Look at it. Second of all, she's Rentaro's cousin. She's the cousin of the main protagonist. And I just hate her character trait. Like, she's like the one that tries to be like, she's like super fucking strict. And like, she tries to make sure everything is organized and correct. But if her glasses are off, oh no, she reverts to being a child. Like, I absolutely fucking hate Lin so much. Oh my god, it's... ugh. At best, she enables Hari's mother gimmick, but then they gave her a worse enabler, which we'll get to. Anyway, Nadi Sensei. The American otaku. Pretty much, she's a Japanese woman, very traditionalist, trying to, like, roleplay as an American. She's the English teacher at Rentaro's school, and she's all about freedom. I think she's quite funny. Probably not above Mimi. Yeah, no, I think she goes into B. Oh, B's really looking fucking... Yama made me. Country girl. We're calling her a country girl. I can't pronounce her name. Country girl. Her gimmick is she's like 6 foot something. She's like the gentle giant type. She cares about animals. She likes gardening. I think she's quite adorable and likable. Likable enough that I'm actually might just put her in A above everyone else. I really like her character trait. Actually put her there. And put her there too. Like, her character trait is literally, I'm the big gentle type that likes gardening and caring for animals. Memoji. Oh my god, Memoji. I'm putting you above Nano. There's something about her that speaks to me. Despite the fact that her gimmick is, I like to molest people. As a masseuse. Like, she likes touching and feeling things. Which is why she became, like, a masseuse as a hobby. She likes molesting people, and I don't know why that speaks to me. I normally hate that. But I don't know, there's something about her that I really fucking like. I think it's just how honest she is. With, like, how much she likes touching people, I guess. Okay, Yaku. Oh my god, okay. The 80-year-old stuck in a lolly's body. C tier, she's funny. She's at least funny. Despite being the grandma of our drug dealer friend over here, I'm actually gonna put... no, because she names jokes, like I said. Yeah. Let's start with the fact that Rentaro is still in high school and he's dating like an 80-year-old woman. Actually, I think she's supposed to be 90. Let me double check that. I think they call her a Nocturian. You're boarding the... yeah, she's like a Nocturian. she's like 90 years old. But I think she's genuinely funny. She still weirds me out with her existence, but no, she's funny. Okay. Kishu. I'm putting in top of D above Lin on the basis that I like her character trait a little bit more. She's like the modern knight type. That would have worked fine. That was like a perfectly fine character trait they could have just had. If she just kept that, I would have put her in B. She's in D, though, because she has a fucking parent fetish. And I think it ruins her character so much. And the worst part is, she enables Harari. And it's like, watching these two people on the same screen is like the most annoying thing. Like, let me bring up, like, literally, this is her. This is her. It's I hate her. I just hate that. That's like the thing they let her define her as. It's not even funny. The triple tier goes to Anko, because I fucking love her so much. Oh my god, holy shit. Like, she's supposed to be the Garu type, you know, like, you know what Garus are, right, guys? You know, the stylish, like, you know, about being stylish and all that. Sorry, not that. Wrong one, sorry. Well, to this one. Ako. Like, her whole entire gimmick is being a Garu. But I think what really fucking... Anyway, Ako, I think what really carries her is the fact her whole entire attitude is being, like, super low, like, super, like, chill. Like, she is just so casual about everything. She goes on like, you know, like, she sounds like she's kind of high, but they say she's kind of like, it's because she's like anemic, so she's kind of like really low energy, and I think I really like that character trait in her. And she has some really good character moments I like. Like, she has like a great chemistry with Kanade. Like, they actually kind of hang out a lot. With the latest girlfriend, really lets her shine, which I think somewhat redeemed the latest girlfriend for me, which we'll get to. But no, I really liked her a lot. She's like my favorite. Like, not only design-wise, but as character-wise, personality-wise, and what they do with her in the story so far. Despite one of the later girlfriends. She is my favorite girlfriend. She's going to triple S tier, and no one else is going up there. Anyway, back to worst girlfriends. Okay, this one I can't remember. Oh, Uto. Right, you guys know that stereotype? You know, the 12-year-old syndrome? Where everyone is like, when they turn 12 years old, they like adopt this personality about being super cool. Like, is that, in this case, instead of being a superhero, she thinks she's being super cool by being a bard. A wandering bard. And I think it's not that funny. Especially because in, like, after that whole chapter, they kind of play off like she's more like a wandering monk who gives out advice. I don't think she's funny. I don't think she has a lot to her string. In fact, I'm about to put another girlfriend down here that doesn't have a lot to their string. This is Mai. Her gimmick is that she's in love with Mei, and she sees herself as a sister to Mei, despite not being related by blood. I really still don't understand why she became a girlfriend. I think it was just to spend more time with May, but it's like, okay, and it's like you offer nothing. You literally offer nothing. Oh, okay, fine. Another teacher. This is a bit of a weird one, but I think they do this one better than Nari-san. So, I can't remember her name. I'm just gonna quickly go get it. Oh, here you go. Momaha. Yeah, we'll just call her Momaha. Her gimmick is... her gimmick is being the ethics teacher with no ethics. I really love that. I don't know why, but it's like so fucking funny to me. The ethics teacher with no ethics. So like she's drunk all the time. She's sleeping behind the garden shed in the school, and she teaches ethics at the school. But then like later in that her introduction chapter, they reveal like, oh, she lives like that because she's sending her money she earns to her parents, so she can't actually afford to actually rent a place. So she's just living on the school grounds. But also, she's kind of doing this thing where she's being unethical because then she can kind of teach the students what being ethical actually is. So she's like the example of how to not be ethical. That's her thing. That's her gimmick. But I think they pull off her really well. I think she's a great addition to the cast, surprisingly. And that's why I'm putting her an S. Okay, so this one's... we'll call her Vin. Vin is... She's like the elegant girl. She likes being elegant, but she's really in love with violence. She's like... She likes violence. I don't know why. Yet again, another character that really just speaks to me on a spiritual level. Not as much as Momoji, but I'm just gonna put her in A. Hifumi Sue. Her character trait is I love numbers. Like, she loves numbers. That's it. She likes numbers. She's sexually attracted to numbers. If I only had the introduction chapter to go off of, I would honestly put her probably around... yeah, there. Like, fucking, these two are interchangeable at this point. But no, I'm putting her here. But then she had that chapter with, yet again, Best Girl. So, Anko kind of just brought her up. I will probably put her in low C. She might drop depending what they do with her in the future chapters. But yeah, no, holy shit. There you go. That's all 23 girlfriends ranked. Glad I was able to save some editing time there, so we can focus on my complaints, which begins as such. I still hate is a harem manga, but I think we all know that. My second complaint is that the harem setup makes it hard for the girlfriends to shine as individuals. I can't say. Why do I write words I can't say? They can't shine as people. Separate people. There we go. Correct word. Single persons. No. While I feel like the harem setup is great for giving you the good weekly dose of rom-com energy, I also feel like it ruins the rom part of rom-com. Because as I am still a hardcore traditionalist, I personally think the harem setup means just not each girlfriend gets equal airtime to do their gag, especially in the later chapters where we're up to like, what, 23 girlfriends now? Probably 24 by the time I get this video out. As the most part has the gimmick of Rantaro's family does X today, it has to justify fitting in every single girlfriend within the limit. Sure, there's chapters where we get to see a select group of characters, usually ones that have established good friendships like Kanane and Akio, but I still don't feel like that's the right answer either to this problem, because, let's say you're a fan of a certain girlfriend, and that girlfriend doesn't show up in that week's chapter. Well, now you don't have a reason to read that chapter, because you may not be invested in that character or their personal growth. of the girlfriends that are on screen. This is purely hypothetical and doesn't really apply to me because, as you saw on the tier list, I don't really hold any strong dislike for against any of the girlfriends, except for one of them. um, but there are people like that, and I can see this formula wearing those sorts out. What those sorts of people? You get what I mean. With that said, I do have a personal preference of what sort of chapters I like. It's the ones where it's just Rentaro hang out with only one of his girlfriends. This is really part of my final complaint, but I really want more chapters of these one-on-one chapters, which we are getting quite rarely. Like, sure, we get one every time a new girlfriend gets added, but my two absolutely favorite chapters of the entire series are Rentaro going on a normal date with one of his girlfriends. We already get lots of gags and scenes about the dedication Rentaro goes to keeping his girlfriends happy. In fact, we get 2 whole chapters dedicated to exploring the joke, which is, well, that joke, and it's incredibly funny, but Chapter 60's boyish girlfriend and Chapter 79's everyone was co-ed at some point are the best chapters in the series, hands down, because it's not even really trying to be funny, but are genuinely heartwarming and sincere. And I want the author to not be afraid to do more chapters like this. Like, I know I just criticized the series for doing chapters structured around small sections of girlfriends like this. But if it means we can get more brilliant moments that we get in these 2 chapters, I will gladly take back that criticism and shave my head in repentance. Because I genuinely loved those chapters. It took 2 girlfriends I had problems with and explored them as characters, which then made me love them wholeheartedly. I really just want more chapters like this. The jokes had me enjoy it, but it's chapters like this that has made me fall madly in love with it. And fuck it, I will go through these chapters in detail, explaining why. Because I am also adding the recent chapter of 122's A Home Date with Mimi-chan and her stuffed toys to that pile of best chapters. Okay, I feel like I got a little incoherently there, but maybe you'll get my point once I start explaining. So let's go in order of chapters that came out. So let's start with Boyish Girlfriend first, which, if I recall, I put IQ pretty damn low in comparison to the other girls, but that's because I wasn't a big fan of her shtick. Her gimmick is tomboy, but also an M, so yeah, not big on that. What I like about Boyish Girlfriend is the fact it leans into that tomboy aspect and explores her insecurities with her not being girly. Like, it's nothing mind-blowing, sure, it's stereotypical for the archetype, but because it's stereotypical, it doesn't mean it's bad. I feel like I said this before, and I'll definitely say it again. Stereotypes doesn't equal bad or uncreative. It's only uncreative when you don't hide it well enough, cover it with enough distractions to keep the reader from noticing it, and the author realizes that, which is why this little cliche story about a tomboy's insecurities is hidden by a really fun scene involving a batting center, which allows the strength of both Rentaro's and Iku's characters to really show their love for each other and let the comedy blur any other sticking points. Boyish Girlfriend is a great character. Well, a great chapter by itself, and I guess also a great character piece. There you go. See, I worked my fuck up into the line. But I will now gladly tell you why Everyone is Co-ed does what it did, but better by adding continuity. That chapter picked not only one of the few girlfriends I really hate and made her incredibly lovable, but it also builds on this continuity of Hahari's insecurity about her age and how she didn't get to have a normal high school relationship like her daughter is having now. Like, my biggest problem with her was the fact that her whole joke is the fact that she's a super horny MILF who wants to mother everyone, and I hate that they gave her an enabler later on, but this chapter fixes it. She still has it at the start, but when she gets to the real meat of it, it really is toned down, and it lets a Hahari just seem like a mother who wants that high school life she missed out on, and she loves that Rentaro is letting her have that again, even in this very small capacity. It's also, once again, lets Rentaro's love carry the whole chapter, because that's how strong of a character Rentaro is. This chapter alone made Ahari go from a D tier pick to an S tier pick in my heart alone. I'm actually tearing up as I'm just reading that sentence because that's how much I love this chapter. Thinking about it makes me cry. It's that heartwarming to me. As for chapter 122, I don't think it holds a candle to the other two chapters, but it very much feels like it's doing what the other two chapters were doing, but from a different angle. Instead of exploring the relationship between Rentaro and a girlfriend, it makes Rentaro into a device that enables the audience to see this other side of Mimi and also makes her a Fujushi? Also, quickly on the pile, chapter 72 has some really good moments, despite very much being a gimmicky chapter. You can say a lot of images alone, like a lot by his own, just with images, and this chapter really shows that. I would kill for more chapters like this, like these, and because implying and even joking about Mitara going on solo dates is fun, but actually showing them is miles better and just really helps the reader understand why Rentaro loves these girls. Not just because he's weird, but he genuinely has real relationships with these people. Well, at the end of the day, 100 Girlfriends is a harem rom-com. I think its sense of humor greatly carries it with the wholesome energy of the genuine love between everyone buries all the hatred I have for harems. I still do hate harems at the end of the day, but I'm glad that 100 Girlfriends shows that just like isekai, it's a genre that shines if a little love and effort is put behind it. Well, comedy is completely subjective. I wholeheartedly recommend 100 Girlfriends for anyone looking for a good laugh. Maybe I shouldn't be so apprehensive about taking recommendations from my batshit crazy friend of mine, Tama, in future. And maybe I should consider giving more harem mangas a chance. Nah, fuck her and fuck this genre. You know, Tama, she can buy me again if she wants me to review anything she likes. I got my own titles I want to review anyway. And I really, really don't want to talk about harem again for at least a good fucking while. Fuck harem! Anyway, also, if you want to read the fully unscripted script, but that's an oxymoron, complete with my cringe-ass intro I didn't want to do, it's on my Patreon. I made a public post so you can read it without paying. Just there, if you're curious to see all my notes I wrote for my Phantama to say, and also how bad my character dialogue is. Even if I wrote it for myself in mind. God. Anyway, see you guys next time, I guess, for an isekai, I guess, because I write my scripts, like, at least a month ahead of time. I'm weird, I know.